Hello, welcome back to school. We're going to begin with the grammar lesson for the present simple and the present continuous. First, we're going to begin with the present simple, usages, information, how to write it, time expressions, and spelling rules. First, usage for the present simple. We use present simple to talk about general truth. For example, it snows in winter in New York, or the sun rises from the east. It's not going to change. So it's general truth or facts. More examples. People in Japan speak Japanese. The weather in Egypt is warm. Animals in the North Pole adapt to severe cold weather. Our teacher speaks quickly. It's her nature. She speaks quickly. It's a fact. Another usage for the present simple. Things we do regularly, like routines and habits. For example, my friends and I go to the park every Thursday. My students always do their homework after school. Susan usually goes to work on time. So these actions, I do them regularly, or it's a habit for them. Okay, so when I'm using in the present simple these actions regularly, I use with them the adverbs of frequency. I use the adverbs of frequency such as always, usually, regularly, sometimes, often, rarely, never, frequently, occasionally, and daily. These adverbs of frequency tell me when to use, or how often do we do this action. For example, he washes his face every morning. Another usage for the present simple. Permanent situations. We live in Cairo. He has a car and a dog. It won't change in the near future, but it's permanent. Okay? Another usage for the present simple. Timetable and programmed events in the future. Our science teacher class starts. Our science class starts at 11 a.m. The plane takes off at 5 p.m. sharp. They are not going to change. I forgot to tell you something. The place for the place of the adverbs of frequency in the sentence, they come in before the verb. They come before most of the verbs except for verb to be. For example, I am always happy in my birthday. So I begin with I am, verb to be, then always. So verb to be is a strong verb. It comes before the adverbs of frequency. And when I'm negating the sentence, for example, Susan usually goes to work on time. Notice here, comes after the adverb of frequency. I am going to negate it, or I'm going to put it in the negative. So I'm going to say Susan doesn't usually go to work on time. Okay? More time expressions or keywords that tell me when to use this verb, or in the present simple, present continuous. Okay, the time expressions, they tell me whether I use this verb in which tense. Time expressions such as every day, at the weekend, in the morning, in January, in February, on Thursday, on Monday, on Saturdays, once a week, twice a week, 4 times a week, for example. Now, how to use the word how, or the question word how often? Okay, we use how often to ask about something. How often something happens. For example, you practice tennis twice a week. So, how often do you practice sports? Twice a week. How often do you go swimming? 3 times a week. Okay? So I use how often to know how the number of times this action happened. For another spelling rule, we are going to learn the spelling rules for the present simple. We usually put the verb in the infinitive after the subject. For example, when I use the pronoun I, you, we, they, I use the verb after it in the infinitive form, except after he, she, and it, which are called third person singular pronouns. I use s after the verb. Here it is. In the affirmative form, I speak English well. Notice here the verb, there's no s. After he, she, and it speaks English well. So I use s after he, she, and it. The robot, which means it, speaks many languages. They do their homework after school. Okay? Here is the rule for the s and the es and the ies. All verbs end with sh, ch, ss, x, o. We add for them es at the end. For example, do, does, go, goes, watch, watches, wash, washes, miss, misses, okay? Fix, fixes. Another spelling rule. When the verb ending with y, sometimes it's a consonant plus y, and sometimes it's with a vowel plus y. What do we do? If the verb ends in a consonant plus y, we take off the y and add ies. For example, study, studies, ies, carry, carries, ies, and I cross the y. Cry, I cross the y and add ies. She studies English every day. If the verb ends in a vowel plus y, we don't take off the y. We add s. He stays in London. He plays music. She says a sentence, for example. Okay? In the negative form, when I use not, I want to negate the sentence. I don't eat fast food. I use the helping verb do plus not for negation, and then the verb in the infinitive. She doesn't make noise in the class. He doesn't waste his time in class. They don't cheat in the exam. So I want you to look here and tell me what's the difference between I, he, she, he, and they. Okay? Which helping verb did we use? Notice this, don't and doesn't. Okay? So with the I, with they, he, we, you, I use don't. With he, she, and it, I use doesn't. In the question form, I begin with do or does. I begin with does with he, she, and it, and I begin with do with I, you, we, and they. Do you always play tennis? Does she interrupt her teacher? How often do you do house chores? I want you to tell me something here. Look at the verb, please. It's not colored or something, okay? But what do you notice here between this question and this question in both verbs? What happens to the verb? Does it come with S? No. So when I put the verb in the question, I remove the s with does, and also here I put it in the infinitive. Both are in the infinitive form. Let's practice some sentences for the present simple. Correct the verb in brackets. My favorite celebrity often play in mega movies. Okay? My favorite celebrity. It can be he, she, okay? But it is not plural. So think of the answer? Plays. Timothy not pack his suitcase by himself. Take care, there is negation here. Timothy doesn't pack. Doesn't packs? No, it's doesn't pack. Rose always wash her hand before eating. Rose always washes her hand. The children play every morning in the park. This is a question. So, which helping verb I'm going to use here with the children? Does. Do the children play or play every morning in the park? The young boy never finishes his meal. Never finishes his meal. Mom and I often cook on Saturday together. Mom and I, not mom only, mom and I. So, cook, not cooks, okay? Because plural here, the subject is plural. Natalie usually finish her homework on time. Natalie, she finishes her homework on time. Our train to Alex depart at 3 p.m. Okay? Our train to Alex depart. Okay? This is a schedule or timetable. Okay? So I use present simple. Our train to Alex, it departs, means leaves. We're going to continue the present continuous. Also, we're going to take the usages and the time expressions, and then we're going to differentiate between both. In the formation of the present continuous, I use the subject plus verb to be plus ing. How to? Then the usages for the present continuous. We use present continuous to talk about actions that are in progress in the time of speaking. In the time of speaking. The department store is making a huge sale right now. Okay? Another usage, actions that are in progress around the time of speaking. The Simpsons are selling their house and moving to a new one. For also temporary actions, Paul is working at home today. It's temporary. He's not always working at home. Only for today. Future plans. We're traveling to Monaco next week. Also for describing a picture. These are the uses of the present continuous. The children are enjoying their time in the park in this photo. So they are describing the picture, so I'm going to use present continuous. Time expressions or keywords for the present continuous. Now, right now, at the moment, for the time being, today, that day or that week, these days, this day, this morning, this morning or this week or this year, look and listen. Also there is shh, stop, be quiet, the baby is sleeping, okay? Some other more time expressions. Now let's compare between the present continuous and the present simple. Look at this sentence and tell me the difference between using this and this. Tom usually orders the same fast food when he goes alone to the restaurant every week. Okay, so this is a regular action. But today he is having a full meal with his friend. So there is a changing situation. Okay, so I'm using the present simple in the regular habits, and here he's changing his regular habit. The film starts at 8 p.m. Hurry up, we're getting late. Look at that. This is a timetable. Okay? But here I added hurry up. It's a keyword for the present continuous. So it's going to be preceded by present continuous. Bob works in the restaurant every day. Every day he works in the restaurant. But today he's working outside in a party catering. Now, this is his habit, okay? But today, this is changing, okay? He has work outside. Let's look at the present simple and the difference between them both. Present simple and continuous. We use present simple with permanent situations and schedules and facts, but the present continuous for temporary actions and future plans. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.